Ahoy hoy fellow bookworms, my name is Caroline and I like to read books, so let's talk about them. Today's video is going to be the opposite of a monthly book haul because I'm doing an unhaul video. So a few weeks ago I rearranged my bookshelves, and if you want to watch that video I'll leave the link to it because I'm pretty proud of it. But basically in the process of reorganizing my shelves I realized I had a lot of books that I just don't need to be holding on to anymore. These are books that I'm getting rid of for one of three reasons. Either I've read it and not enjoyed it, or I've read it but have no interest in rereading it or recommending it to someone, or I bought it a long time ago, most likely because it was really cheap, and just do not want to read it. These are books that have been on my shelf for like 5 years and I've never even picked them up, so they've got to go. That's it, they have to go. So first thing to go is a whole bunch of my Penguin classics, and as much as I love these, I have a lot of ones that I'm just never going to read. I used to buy them because they're always $9 at my local bookstore, and I would go in there and be like, I don't want to spend a lot of money, so I would only buy one or two of these, but it got to the point where I was buying ones with ridiculous titles that I was like, oh, maybe I'll read this one day. But the truth is, I was only buying it because it was cheap, so I've ended up with like What is History, which is an essay about history, and I've ended up with The Psychology of Love, which is a Sigmund Freud collection or something. It's like, I am never going to read those books. Like, how many times am I reading? And I'm like, next I want to read What is History, because that sounds like a good one. Like, I bought them impulsively, but they've been sitting on my shelf for years and I'm not going to read them, so these are all going. Next book to go is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. I just didn't like this book that much when I read it. It's about this filmmaking high school student who finds out one of his not really friends is dying, and his mum is like, hey, go keep her company, so he does. And it's kind of a charming story, but I just didn't really like the style that it was written in. I think it's better suited to a movie, and it is a movie now, so I would probably just rather watch that than read this book again. Next is The Girl at Midnight by Melissa Gray. This book has been on my shelf for a couple of years. I bought it because the cover seemed kind of cool and the premise was kind of intriguing, but I've read the first chapter of this book twice and just not been grabbed by it at all. The sequel just came out and I still have no real interest in reading it, so it's just been taking up space on my shelf, and so I'm getting rid of it. Next book to go is This Book Is Gay by James Dawson, and I really did not like this book. I bought it hoping it would be kind of an insightful look into sexual orientation and gender identity and the prejudice surrounding it, but instead it was this overly dumbed down version of sexuality, and yeah, there were some good stories from people in it about their experiences, but in general I just found it kind of disappointing, and so I'm getting rid of it as well. The next book I'm getting rid of is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, because I read it this year and just wasn't really a fan. It had been built up so much to be this hilarious story of space travel and these odd people and stuff, and it was quite funny. I liked the humor in the writing and just the writing in general, but the story wasn't that exciting and I didn't love the characters that much, and I have no interest in continuing this series at all, so it's joining the pile of books that I'm getting rid of. Next up is We Are All Completely Beside Ourselves by Karen Joy Fowler, and I remember thinking this book was kind of cute, and I think I gave it like 3 out of 5 stars, but the truth is I don't remember this book. I don't remember the main character's name, I don't remember how it ended, I don't remember what happened in the middle or anything like that, so I think it was quite a cute story, but I'm not going to recommend it to anyone or reread it at any point because overall it was just kind of forgettable. I'm getting rid of Lost and Found by Brooke Davis for a similar reason. I bought this because it's by an Australian author and it sounded like a really cute story about these 3 separate people trying to find themselves or whatever it is they've lost, and it was kind of cute. But again, I don't really remember the specifics of the story. I don't remember that much about the characters, apart from that I found them to be kind of more like caricatures than characters, and I remember being really unhappy with the ending, so I just have no interest in keeping this book. The final book that I'm going to mention in this video is The Talented Mr Ripley by Patricia Highsmith, and I was really excited to read this book because I know she has a lot of others that follow the same character, but I was just kind of underwhelmed by it. I was expecting this to be a kind of creepy and sinister story, and yes, it was a little creepy, but nowhere near as much as I was hoping it would be or as creepy as it should have been. It just kind of fell flat for me. The plot was interesting, but there was a lot of stuff that just felt unnecessary. There's a lot of stuff that I can't recall because it kind of bored me and stuff like that, so this book is going as well. There are a few other books that I'm getting rid of, but I really can't be bothered talking about them all in this video because it'll end up going for too long, but I'm just going to leave a list of all the books that I'm getting rid of down in the description box so that if you're interested you can check that out. Also, if you live in Sydney and know of a place that buys books off people or a good place that I can donate these books, then please let me know down in the comments because I actually have no real idea what to do with these books and I would appreciate the help. But that's it for this video, guys. I upload videos Wednesdays and Saturdays, so be sure to like and subscribe and tune in on those days for more bookish goodness. Toodaloo!